Oh, hi. Well, this is long overdue, isn't it? Yes, my first ever painting tutorial. Long time coming. This first one, as promised, requested by a few people, it's going to be on water. Now, I might do a few of these because water comes in all kinds of forms. It could be in the form of like a placid mirrored lake, an angry sea, calm sea, rippling rivers, etc. Waterfalls, yeah. It comes in many different forms, so you know, why only do one? I will do a few. The first one I thought I'd attempt though is a river. So today we're going to be painting, can't see it very well because the light's crap, yeah that. Yeah, the River Avon. Nice little simple image, he says. Let's do this. So what we need to do, what you need to do actually is wait a minute because I need to get some paints out. Alright, painting a river. Let's get started. Now, before also you get started, make sure you have, very important, a tea. Because, you know, it's the lifeblood of everything. Feel free to substitute that with wine though, if you want. And without further ado, let's get painting this bad boy. So, the first thing we want to do is sketch it out. Now, if we look at this drawing, photo rather, I'm trying to find the zoom button on this thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, is that working? Yeah, hi. It's almost like a mirror image. You know, you can see the shapes here are very symmetrical. You know, the trees here, and yet everything is reflected. So that's the first thing you want to remember when dealing with water. Let's just zoom out again. Ah, too far. There we go. Is that okay? Yeah, it is. So bear that in mind when sketching out your shapes. Shapes? Sorry, I have a mouth ulcer. Words are failing me today. So just bear with me while I sketch this out. Okay, as you can see, I've very quickly detailed the scene out. Just a little sketch. Literally 2 minutes. That's normally, words are failing me. That's normally all how long I take, just to initially sketch out whatever the heck I'm painting, just to sort of give me a base idea. Tea! It's rather spiffy! Now, as you can quite clearly see, I forgot to mention this by the way, that the canvas is clearly not to scale when you put the photo there, is it? So, you know, I am using a bit of artistic license here, I am using a bit of freedom. One thing to remember, one thing I always remember when painting rivers anyway, or any form of water, with a reflection at least, is basically, unless you're a really hyper-realistic painter, which I am not, because I don't have the patience, then just block in the colour very quickly. I just block in the colour because, you know, I'm not being too detailed here. This is only a reflection. There are probably some rules I should discuss, especially when it comes to landscape painting, and especially when it comes to landscape painting that involves water. Now I know there's no real right or wrong, and you can basically do whatever the hell you want when it comes to art, but there are certain, I feel there are certain rules and things to remember that will help you and will actually make the painting look good if you remember them. And one of those rules to remember is water will always reflect the colour of the sky and what's around it. So if we look at the painting again, oh god. So you can clearly see the river is reflecting the greens, the browns and the oranges of the trees, and the sort of pale early morning grey, really rainy grey by the way. I remember it chucked it down shortly after I took this photo. But the point is, it reflects the colours, so bear that in mind when you're painting your river or any form of water. Now, you may be wondering also, or you might not be actually, why the fudge am I using a paintbrush? Because I didn't finish what I was saying earlier, did I? Sorry, I'm no good at talking on camera, so this first tutorial is probably a little bit all over the place, but yeah. A lot of people think that a paintbrush is the only thing you can use. Well, no, far from it. You're not limited to any tools you can use. Personally, when doing reflections, my favourite tool of choice is a palette knife. Now, like paintbrushes, these come in a variety of shapes and sizes, depending on your needs. But, you know, you can use anything. You can use paintbrushes, you can use palette knives. Before now, I've used old bank cards. I've used cardboard, little strips of cardboard to spread paint. Yeah, before now I've even used my hands, my fingers. You know, you can use anything you want. Sponges. I just randomly remembered when I used to paint with a potato when I was a kid. Did you ever do that as a kid? Like, I don't know what you call it, preschool or something? Might be primary school actually. Did you ever paint with a potato? We did. Used to cut the potato in half. Put paint on it. And basically make prints. But today our tool of choice is going to be a palette knife as well as a paintbrush. Because I find a palette knife gives you really nice texture, especially when you're trying to capture these reflections here. Sometimes I use the edge, just a fine edge of the paintbrush, and I just drag the colour on. Sometimes that can give a nice ripple effect in the water. Can you see? Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, pretty much. Feel free to drag your paintbrush in multiple directions as well, just to get that sort of really, I don't know how you describe it, not silky, but just sort of get that liquid feeling of the water. Now, you know what, those colours are actually becoming a bit muddy, so I'm going to take 5, let that dry, and I'll see you in a minute. Well, obviously I'm only going to pause the video, but yeah, I'll be back soon. I made another tea. I also dug out a few extra greens that I thought I'd need. Now, now the paint's dry, it'd be nice if we could have a little close-up view of what's happened so far, wouldn't it? This is what I mean. This is what I mean. So this is why I love using a palette knife so much, because it just gives that lovely textured ripple effect of light on top of the water. It also gives a hint of movement as well, or some kind of disturbance, like for example in the photo, it's being caused by a swan, kind of. So, yeah, the palette knife, it works wonders. So yeah, that's the river so far. What I tend to do, with me personally anyway, what I tend to do when the river's at this sort of stage, pardon me, is I just tend to block in the colours of the surrounding environment, like the trees and the sky, etc. So if we could just speed it up while I do that. Okay, so I've just very quickly just blocked in the colours for the trees and the vegetation in the background. Now, one thing I do when I'm sort of at semi about this stage is, you can see I'm sort of painting this bit here, but what I'm doing is I'm dragging the colour down into where I'm going to paint the river. Because, remember what I said? Reflections. I don't know, to me that's just an easy way of doing it. Add some texture of course. Scrape it across with your good old trusty palette knife once in a while. Another rule, or thing to remember when doing rivers, is that the river is actually in the foreground. You know, all this is sort of growing behind it. So that's another reason I'm starting to drag colours down into the reflections. Because you think this is all land, and then the water is just covering it. It's covering it. So really, I know I blocked the river in first, but you know, really, when you get to a certain stage, when you're happy with blocking in colours, etc., make sure you follow that critical rule. Well, it's not really critical, but again, I just find it adds a little bit of depth to the painting. It just makes it that much more interesting to look at. We've got a palette knife this, aren't we? There we are. Again, using the palette knife, I'm starting to scrape, not scrape, but just starting to apply various light reflections. Do you see it on screen? Yeah, just a bit. I do check occasionally just to make sure you can see what I'm doing. But you know, I'll take you off your tripod in a minute so you can get a good old hefty close up. Where are we going? Just here. Now don't just do it with the white. Oh no. Do it for the greens as well. Get some detail in that water. So yeah, I think that side is looking pretty decent so far. Do you want to see? Yeah, you do. Come here. I'm going to show you just as soon as I remember. Yeah, there we go. So, oh, hang on. This is very awkward. Yeah, again, palette knife just gives that perfect texture, I think. It's definitely my go-to. It's definitely my go-to tool. You know, for when I do rivers and things like that. I'm pretty much happy-ish with this side so far. So while I mull over that, and just while the paint's drying, etc., because you know you need to let layers dry, otherwise the colours mix up and you get all muddy. And yeah, you just won't get the full, you know, full variety of colour that you've got showing through. So I'm going to work on this side. I'm basically doing exactly what I've talked about. Palette knife, paint, drawing it down into the river, you know, reflections. You remember what I told you. Did you quite notice that I did something? Did you notice that I changed something? What did I change? Let's have a look. Yeah, you may have noticed I've smoothed out the palette line marks. Now, palette knife marks, sorry. This bit is done. As you can see, this gives sort of a more, I've done sort of a more abstract sort of reflection technique on there. That's purely just with a paintbrush. Now, I'll go back over that later with a sort of finer brush, just a bit, you know, put a bit more detail on it. But the reason I smoothed that out was because I was looking at the photo. Come here. Yeah, I was looking at the photo, and once it focuses, yeah, that's all kind of faded in nicely. That's just a reflection. But here, again, once it focuses, the water is disturbed. You know, there's movement, that's not light. No, so you need a technique to sort of indicate those two different things. So that's what I tried to do here. So I started to create the light reflection. That's nearly there. And later, I will add, using the palette knife technique that I discussed earlier, I will add the disturbed water and the little swan. There he is. So yeah, the progress so far. Okay, gosh, it's now the next day. Sorry I had to stop recording there. I think I said this yesterday, but I don't like talking when other people are in the house and my fiance came home. So, sorry about the sudden video stoppage, but I'm back, and not in black, because quite clearly that is blue. What, can you get with the painting please, Ben? Okay, sorry. What are you doing, Ben? What are you doing? Well, I'm using my good old palette knife friend here to fill in, sorry, I think I nudged the tripod there. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm using the palette knife here to mark in the water disturbances caused by the swan. So just using the edge of the palette knife just to sort of mark in the areas. I think I discussed this in the last video, just using this. And I'm actually not using the flat, I'm using the edge of it like that, just so I can get really fine marks across the canvas. Be careful, you don't want to go through the canvas. And that has happened to me before, when I was being just a little too forceful. It will happen to you as well if you're not careful. So So there you have it. I basically have given you some tips, some advice and some techniques of how to paint a river. Now, do you notice though there's something missing? What's causing these water disturbances? Well, we already know it's a swan. Should we put him in? Why not? So yeah, I'm going to paint the swan. Actually, look at it, it could be a duck. Never really thought of that. Anyway, so I'm going to leave that to dry, just for a few minutes. I'm going to take 5, and I'll be back. Ha! Do you want to know what I did? Whilst I wait for the paint to dry? I hoovered the flat. That's fascinating information for you, isn't it? Now, let's get on and paint this water-dwelling bugger. And there, folks, you have it. That is basically how I paint a river. I hope you found this useful. I'm actually just going to go over some of these trees, add a bit more detail and just finish off the painting, so, you know, bear with me while I do that. There you go, it's done. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you found that helpful. If you've watched this all the way to the end, you are a trooper. As I said, I'm probably going to do more tutorials on water in the future. Maybe the next one will be sea. I really don't know. Could be skies, could be anything. Let me know. Let me know what you want. In the meantime, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial, in the next video. Bye!